Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. I thought it might be quite fun whilst I'm not doing any running at the moment, just to talk through some of the gear that I've accumulated over my time as a runner and share with you some of my favourite pieces, some of my favourite items and my go-tos, because I think inevitably over time you start to move certain items into a different box and they don't become your priority items anymore. They become your kind of secondaries or your backups. But there's a number of things here which I continue to go to day in, day out when I'm running. And so I thought I'd just share them with you. There might be some links down below to the products on Amazon. They are affiliated links. You don't have to click them. I would just Google them. I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit later about how I find bargains and how I'm able to pick up some of my items so cheap, because to be honest with you, I don't buy a lot of them brand new, and I'm not too proud to say that. I'm quite happy to buy items that often people have bought them and they're the wrong size. They tried them once, they don't quite work. As we know, sometimes you do buy an item and you buy it in good faith and you think that because everybody else is using it, it should be fine for you, and it turns out actually it's not so hot when you begin to wear it. So anyway, in no particular order, let's talk about some of the go-to items. So in terms of socks, when I first started running, I was using Hilly only, and I did have Hilly twin skin socks. But since that point, and these are, the reason why these are brand new is because I actually was saving these for my Ultra as backup. So I use Stance. I really like them. A real simple go-to sock. This is Feel 360 range, huge range, depending on what you want. Different length socks as well. So if you're a trail runner, you can find some kind of quarter, half, whatever, leg, but anyway, Stance. And then my recent discovery, and these have been absolutely awesome. I've got 3 pairs of these. These ones are still in packaging. These are Dry Max, and they are the Speed Goat edition. I think it just basically the colourway is why they're called Speed Goat. It's got no connection that I'm aware of to Speed Goat shoes or anything like that, but there is some sort of reason for the naming. I think some of these are quite they're endorsed as well by different people. So anyway, the Speed Goat Dry Max socks, absolutely perfect. Both of those socks I have obviously running, and I've had no blisters whatsoever. So I think it's a combination of really good socks and the right shoes that saves you any sort of blistering. Okay, I don't wear arm sleeves a lot. When I do though, just these ones here from Tailwind. Really comfortable, really soft, very lightweight. And like I said, I don't wear them a huge amount of time, but for the early morning runs when you know it's going to get slightly warm but it starts a bit chilly, T-shirt, arm sleeves. So when it comes to calf sleeves, I've been using 2XU or 2XU, whatever you want to call it. You can see these are pretty battered. I've been wearing these for a little while now. Pretty cheap, inexpensive, and a great solution. I like to use calf sleeves. It feels good for me to use them. I use them from 5k up. I know a lot of people don't bother, but it's personal preference, and I happen to love wearing calf sleeves, so these are a great addition. More recently, for my ultra training, I did purchase, so some of these items obviously are brand new, so the socks are normally always brand new when I buy them. This here, the Naked Band, haven't done a review or anything on them because I didn't really have enough time using it to form a full opinion, but they are as good as people say they are. Very flexible. You fit a huge amount of stuff in there. They're pricey, they're not cheap, but they do serve a great purpose. And if you're somebody like me who actually prefers, given the choice, to not wear a hydration pack or vest, I would prefer just to run with a handheld and chuck everything else in here, or equally you can actually get soft flasks in the back as well. So naked running vest, very important. Underwear, interesting one. I've always just used underwear. Actually, as it turns out, I do prefer the brief to the boxer short. And then I got these. I don't even think they're supposed to be underwear, to be honest with you, but I got them from, oh, they are performance underwear, Reebok. This is one of those really random buys in TK Maxx. I don't know how much they were, but it was some reduced option. I think it's when I started running, I thought, I know what I'll do, get some performance underwear. So comfortable, so soft, but I've never been able to find the same, even online. So don't know what these are, but I've got one pair, so they'll do. Now, in terms of shorts, I used to run in the Ron Hill Infinity Marathon shorts. I won some Lululemon shorts for coming first in a race, which I wore for quite a while, but I found the bottom where the short touches your leg, that wasn't really seamless. It just kept seeming to rub just slightly. It wasn't a big deal, but it was enough to annoy me when I was going on a longer journey. So before I talk about these ones here, these are the Patagonia, these are called Nine Tails, Patagonia 9 something. Really, really comfortable short, loads of pockets, loads of space. Did a review on my channel for it. I'll stick it at the end of this video. Fantastic short. This is going to be the one that I will be using for my ultra marathon. Actually, any other races in the future, these are the shorts to go to. However, I bought a pair of these shorts. These are the Salomon twin skins. Can't quite remember the name of them now, but Salomon kind of got this 360 band going on. I wore these all the time. They're incredibly lightweight. They're actually my favourite short, but you can see what happened here. Like, I used them so often and I stuffed too much in the back and it basically ripped. Now, instead of buying a new pair, this was around the time when I got the Lululemon pair, so I thought I'm not going to just continually buy new pairs of shorts. But I've come back to these. These are now my kind of 5-10k going out for a run shorts, and they are awesome. Obviously I can't use the back, but I can still use the front. You can see that it's all kind of falling apart here. Look at it all. Great pair of shorts, not that expensive either, so if you can get hold of a pair, do. Okay, moving on to t-shirt. Okay, tops and t-shirts. If you follow me on social media, you probably would have seen a number of these already, either in daily posts, weekly posts, or during races and race photography, things like that. Let's start first of all with vests. So, special mention to Seth. This is a vest here that I bought off of Teespring. Ooh, very, very comfortable vest. Wore it for a number of 20-mile training runs back when I was doing my second marathon. Very, very comfortable. Really, really easy to wash. Lightweight. Does the trick. It's not as breathable in terms of material. I guess it's a cotton or something like that, but on the whole, absolutely fantastic. If I'm not wearing that one, I'm going to be wearing this one here. This is just a Ron Hill vest. I actually picked this up before a race. There was a local running shop who had a stall there, and it cost me £3 for that. I wish I had bought another one. There were two there and I just left it. But hey, I gave somebody else the opportunity. I got this one actually from a charity shop. This was £1. This is a Nike vest. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy wearing it. It's very comfortable. I really like the design there. It's kind of like this fishtail going on here. It's kind of scales. So that's great. It's a nice Nike breathable one. You've seen probably a couple of photos with me wearing that. Okay, when I started running again, charity shop buy. All the gear, no idea. But I saw this on the shelf and it was £2, I think. I never took part in this particular race, and I actually had somebody say to me, "Oh wow, cool, you're a wolf runner." I didn't know what they're talking about until I googled it and realised it actually was quite a big event. But this is my Wolf Runner Wild Running t-shirt. I used to wear this all the time when I started running, but inevitably it kind of ended up at the bottom of the box. But I recently rediscovered it and I kind of remind myself why I loved wearing it. Cool design, really enjoy it. This one here was an early purchase as well, another TK Maxx, cost me £5. This is by Spider, so all kind of like random brands. You can see it's probably almost there, almost see-through. It is very, very breathable and a fantastic top, a good one to wear underneath a top layer, especially in the winter where you just know it's not absolutely freezing cold, but you just need 2 layers on, but you don't want anything that's too thick. Love that one. My favourite t-shirt of all time. I did this event. This is the event that I've won. I won the short distance, the 6.66 miles, not the 66.6 miles ultra, one day. There it is, the Omen t-shirt. Absolutely awesome. I've actually worn it out just as a t-shirt, not just for running. Recent purchase, this was Black Friday last November. I got 2 of these. These are on Tailwind's websites. They were £5 each. Have got 2 in the same colour. I could have purchased a different colour, but I just figured this was, again, thinking about my ultra. It's bright, it's easy to see, it's visible, and I think when I'm out on the trails, the one thing I wanted to do is make sure I was visible. So I've got 2 of those. Obviously, it looks like I'm a bit of a brand geek. I'm not obviously sponsored by them, but it's a really comfortable t-shirt, and for £5, super duper. I'm looking at a box of t-shirts now, wondering why I have so many of them, but you know, there it is. I've also got to give, oh, where is it? There it is. Is that the vest version? Okay, I don't want that. I'll grab that in a second. Ah, there it is. A special mention, obviously, I did a Brighton Marathon for Mind. Really, really good t-shirt. Very, very comfortable. I don't know who the branding is. Max Athlete. Who knows? But comfortable all the same. Special mention, secondly, another special mention. Over the winter, I purchased this just before the winter. It is from Decathlon. It's the Kalenji brand, and it is a long-sleeved, bright yellow. This is a kind of over-the-top layer, slightly thicker, a little bit fleecier. What I love about it as well, it's got the thumb holes, and it served me perfectly over the winter period, and I had no issues whatsoever. If you're watching my videos, you probably saw me wearing things like this a lot of the time, thinking, is he going to ever wash the thing? Well, I bought two, so they're that comfortable. I also bought one for my dad for Christmas because he is a cyclist, and so he really appreciated the gift. Now we're on to handheld other stuff. Okay, we're on to some miscellaneous items now. So, gloves. Now, I haven't really got a decent pair of gloves running the winter, but I did pick these up at the same place that I picked up the Ron Hill vest before a race, and these were £2, and these are Salomon, just kind of fluorescent simple gloves, nothing too fancy about them. They're supposed to be the kind of gloves we can use on touch screens. I always find them a bit rubbish, but fantastic pair of gloves just to kind of chuck in the back. These were going to be in my race pack for the Ultra. I've got some Salomon mittens. Again, these were off eBay. They were £5. What I'm actually going to do now is overlay for you a video. I can just talk whilst I'm doing this. So if you go to eBay on the app and you search for the item that you want, what you can do is set up an alert on your phone. So you type in what you want, you sort by newly listed, and then use the little heart icon at the top, and you can set up a saved alert, and you can have that come by email or by your phone. And I knew that I wanted some Salomon mittens. It's about a year ago. So I set the alert up, and then sure enough, somebody listed a pair of these mittens. They were pre-owned, they were wrong size, but they were brand new pre-owned. And went straight on there, £5, buy it now, and I bought them. So these are Salomon mittens here, and they are fantastic. Really, really like wearing them, but I haven't worn them for a little while because thankfully the weather's been actually pretty good. And it hasn't really been raining, but these are also waterproof as well. So £5 bargain, again, pre-owned but new is what it is. Right, so in terms of hats, I've got a few different variations of these. This one is the blue one. I've also got a blue one that's waterproof, and I've also got a white one. They've all got slightly different designs, yet I ordered them all off of Amazon, and they're all called the Salomon XA cap. So weirdly, they all came slightly different. The one that's waterproof, there's probably an error that they sent it to me, but either way it is waterproof and it worked really, really well. Other ones are really, really lightweight. Fantastic hat. I've worn this one for a majority of my summer training and quite a number of races. I've also got one from Ethics. It's not actually a sports cap as such, but I've used it for that, and it's a really, really good one. And this has got a really solid peak on it, so I use that, especially in the kind of when it is raining. It isn't waterproof really, but that is solid, and it stops it from kind of slipping down or bending under the pressure of the rain and the wind. So a great hat to have. That one's actually a one-off sample, so you can't buy that, but pretty good all the same. This one is featured in so many of my videos, so many of my photos. It's kind of iconic, I suppose, and I've got the most use out of this than any other product, I'd imagine. This cost me £5 from a local sports shop. It's a Ron Hill. It might be Ron Hill Infinity Beanie, I can't quite remember, or something like that anyway. But yeah, just a simple, boring, warm hat for the winter, and you can see yourself on the road, or rather other people can see you. Now when I'm actually running, if I wear sunglasses, which is pretty infrequently, but I do use Gooder. You're probably aware of them anyway, I won't go into detail. And these ones are the black ones. I've got a few different colours. I did think it'd be quite a cool idea to match my sunglasses to my outfits, and then I realised that running shouldn't be about the way you look, it should be about practicality. So the orange pair, which I used to twin in my orange shoes, I no longer wear. Kind of redundant, I suppose. Handheld. Okay, so for my first marathon, I had 2 Nathan handhelds, kind of cylindrical bottles, and then I moved to one that looked more like this here. Nathan, I think it's the Nathan Quick Draw, and I've actually got this one set up with the pouch. This is the one I use for more or less all of my training, 5k, 10k, 15k, anything up to half marathon. This will do fine. That and the naked band, and away you go. So that's what I use there. I can talk about hydration, nutrition a little bit later in the video. Sorry, I'm all over the place on my words today. But what I did use for my second marathon were 2 of these Ultimate Direction clutches, handhelds, absolutely awesome. The only issue I had was one of these leaked, and I don't know which one it is, so I've kept both of them because one of the bottles leaks. But the clutch part itself is the most expensive bit. You can buy replacement bottles, but to actually get this bit is a bit of a pain. I got them and they were £10 each, but normally like £35. Again, eBay set myself up with a little thingy on there, a little alert. So that's that there, and I won't go into huge detail about coats. I don't really have any light kind of rain jacket type things, but I do have the Salomon Bonatti there, which has been kind of my go-to, even though I find the hood a little bit too big. But hey, it is what it is. So that's kind of the miscellaneous stuff. I have got my Camelback racing vest, but to be honest with you, to feature in this video will be a little bit false of me because I haven't used it for long enough, and it's not really like a go-to piece of kit. It's a necessary piece of kit for my ultra, but it hasn't been something that I've needed up until this point. Although the Camelback bottles are very good. Okay, let's talk shoes. I thought I'd just talk you through the kind of basically timeline, the history of my shoes. So these were the first shoes that I bought. These are the Brooks Caldera. Fun fact, these are actually women's shoes. Hadn't quite realised, and I just bought them. I had not had any sort of gait analysis or anything like that. I literally just bought these shoes. So love them, absolutely love them. Look at the wear on them, pretty good, eh? So I kept hold of these just because, I don't know, nostalgia I suppose. I then had this shoe here, which is the Brooks, Mr. Brooks Glycerin 16 shoe. So I did my training for my first marathon in this. And then for the marathon, or just before, I'd actually purchased the orange ones here. So exactly the same shoe, just in orange. And I used the orange sunglasses, of course, on the day. So same shoe. After I finished that, the Adrenaline shoe was being advertised, and I bought them, and they were awful. I got loads of blisters. Then I realised it's because I'm a neutral runner and they are not suitable for neutral runners. But I didn't realise any of this. I just thought you literally picked a shoe size like you do with trainers, just normal kind of day-to-day trainers, and you bought it. So that was my error there. And anyway, for my second marathon, I just did all my training in the orange shoes, and then I bought these just before marathon day. So I've now got 3 pairs of Glycerin shoes. Obviously don't need all 3, but at the moment they're just kind of by the door. And then I had decided after my second marathon I was going to be doing the ultra, and I looked into Brooks because you can see there all of them are Brooks so far. Love the brand, and I decided that I wanted some that were Gore-Tex. So I looked into the Cascadia 12s, and I got the Cascadia 12s. These are Gore-Tex, and I absolutely hated them and continue to hate them. I did a couple of runs in them, continued to get blisters. They were horrible for me. I did not enjoy them whatsoever, and now they've just been retired to a, if I need to go for a walk, get muddy, I can walk on them absolutely fine. Just running, they are horrendous, so I hated them. I decided, of course, at that point, what I should probably do is get myself the Calderas, but I realised I couldn't get the other one anymore. The first version of them were just not available to get. So Caldera 2, and I got them, and they're pretty good. They're all right, very, very comfortable. A nice shoe, but just weren't really doing the job for me. So anyway, after all that time, I then decided to go and get a gait analysis, and I went into the shop with the intention of looking at a pair of Hokas because I just felt like it might be something that I could look into. I didn't want a pair of Speedgoats because the terrain that I'd be running on would not be suitable for a pair of Speedgoats because it is part trail, part road. So I just thought Speedgoat's a little bit too aggressive for my needs. Anyway, long story short, the moment I put these on, it just changed everything. They were incredible in the shop. I really, really love them. and these are the Hoka Challengers ATR 5s, and I've put 400 miles into them, or there's a lot anyway, I can't remember, it might be 400 kilometers, miles, something like that. You can see here in terms of the wear, pretty good indeed. I love this shoe. It's actually my favourite shoe of all the shoes I've got there. This is the most comfortable shoe, never had a single blister in it. And then I decided, after looking online, people said, hey, if you want to be doing some easy miles, you want to get yourself a pair of Cliftons, a pair of Cliftons. So I thought, oh, well, I'll do that. I'll treat myself. I've been working pretty hard. I'm looking forward to building up some easy miles, buy some Cliftons, these ones here. And I hate them as well. They make my feet way too hot. It just doesn't feel very comfortable to run in for me at all. So now this is my like day-to-day trainer. The Cascadia is my walk around the field trainer, and my go-to for every single run that I do at the moment is the Challenger ATR 5. So that kind of gives you a little breakdown of those shoes. And do I need them all? No, I don't. But I make use of all the shoes, apart from the glycerin models, which I don't really get a chance to use that much, although we'll chuck them on if I'm going to the shops. And the Cadera, of course, my first ever shoe, I don't use at all, just because I don't have the need to. But there is kind of an overview of the kind of shoes that I have been running in since I started running up until now. Okay, and finally let's talk about nutrition. So I have mentioned it a number of times on my videos before, but I'll just talk you through the sorts of things I've been using for nutrition over the years. So like everybody, when I started out running, I did sample a couple of different things. Given that I am vegan, there were certain brands that I couldn't try anyway and wouldn't be trying, but most of them I truly disliked and hated, and they just tasted awful. I like something to taste nice. I wanted to be a little kind of sweet treat to pick me up. So a couple of things that I got early on. Now, down at my local sports shop, they were having a bit of a clearance sale. I'm just checking the date on this, it's probably out of date now. But I was able to get, oh no, just about in date. I was able to get some Cliff Shot, the double espresso ones. I actually don't have any caffeine at all. I don't drink coffee, so these are pretty disgusting, but they certainly do the trick. Like a small rocket in your mouth. And also some of the citrus ones as well. So these were 10 pence each, which is why I ended up buying a load of them. I think I had at one stage about 50 or 60, certainly of this one, and then about 30 or 40 of these. And the best before on this one is 11th September 19, so I'm actually going to chuck these away after this video. Anyway, so I had those, but they are not really gels, they're more kind of before an activity. And then I discovered humour gels. So these were available on Amazon, they're actually a little bit more easy to get hold of than they used to be. They used to be quite difficult. Many different flavours, and I love these, really, really tasty. I've used them on all of my marathons to date, all of my events I participated in, I've used these. Twinned with, because I like to have my handheld, as you know, I was using Tailwind. I used to use the really sweet one, the raspberry one, I think it was. Is it raspberry? I've forgotten the name of it now, but it got to a stage where it gave me a little bit of a headache. It was a bit too sweet. So now I just use the kind of, what's this one called here? Naked Flavour, or I use this one here, which is a green tea buzz. Now, Black Friday, Tailwind, when I got my cheap t-shirts, I also got these here, which are the green tea buzz endurance fuels. Now, massive pack, and I was intending to use these before my ultra. I just looked at the back and I realised that this is a problem. I got this specifically for the ultra. I know it's way too much, but I just thought I'd be training a lot more, and given that we haven't really been able to do so much, best before the 4th of 20. So these things, they run out. They run out, and you've got to use them. There's no point just buying them and stocking them if you're not going to make use of them. So anyway, his Tailwind I use, and then I always use a recovery mix as well. Absolutely love this stuff. Vanilla. I actually put it into a smoothie mix because I think with water it tastes absolutely disgusting. I cannot get on board with it whatsoever. I've tried it a few times. Awful. So I use this with a smoothie mix. More recently, I have been using for all of my training, although it's very expensive, the Spring Energy Cannaberries. These are #1 in my opinion, the most delicious gel I've actually ever tasted, and it really does work exceptionally well. So I tend to, when I'm going on my training runs, take one of these Spring Energies and then like 1 or 2 of the Humours, because they are cheaper to buy and to restock. But yeah, so Spring Energy for me. And then more recently, I got some Unived gels as well. I haven't even really tried these, so I can't comment on them. But that gives you an overview of the kind of stuff that I take on board when I am doing my training and my races. Hopefully, well, that's the end of the video. Hopefully, that's of some use to you, some interest. Might be completely pointless. Sorry for wasting your time. But that summarises everything that I do, wear, drink, eat, la-di-da. Okay, see you soon.